I remember when I was getting my doctorate, snippets of a conversation I had with one of my professors who questioned what I had written about a teacher's style and how that it can impact the success of a lesson in the classroom. They had said something along the lines of, like, that's not a thing. I disagree, to a point at least. A while back, everyone in my teacher team was expected to provide the exact same lesson, and we were pretty good about it. In fact, when we had an outside observer come into our classrooms, one of her comments to the principal was she was surprised because the lesson was exactly the same down to the questions we were asking and so forth. But later, when we were looking at the results of a formative assessment we did at the end of the lesson that day, the results were wildly different. The teacher who had the inclusion classes had higher scores than the teacher who had 0 inclusion classes, a reversal of the normal trends seen across assessments. We dug deeper, and while further study is needed to explain the phenomenon, and yes, the exact same assessment was given without any modifications made, no reductions or oral admin, because we wanted to see how everyone would do with the exact same assessment. We concluded that it was the way in which we presented the information. The teacher with the best scores liked open discussion, and though asking the same questions as the other teachers, this teacher made students explore the questions from all sides without the teacher directing, just giving gentle suggestions to guide their thinking. This teacher also had students focusing on their writing goals rather than each trying to craft the perfect response every time. This teacher is someone who is constantly looking at their own goals too, always reflecting, and it showed in their teaching. I believe knowing yourself, knowing your strengths, your weaknesses, the things that make you angry or sad, your personal beliefs, is an important part of teaching. The teacher I mentioned earlier, they know themselves very well. In that lesson, they knew what questions they would have as a student. They knew which part of the lesson would be hardest for them to teach, and they made notes on what to do if a student said something that triggered their sadness or frustration. The lesson was about 9/11, and this person hated how disconnected the students were to what they had experienced, even only through the TV live at the time. Above all, this teacher leaned into their patience because they knew their experiences were different from their students' experiences. And so they had made these notes on how to help students understand the emotion behind the event and how it impacted the creation of the author's work. Some research does exist out there that details a teacher's reflective attitude can positively impact student performance, and that a teacher's knowledge of their strength can increase student outcomes. A teacher's effort to build strong, positive relationships with gentle guidance and empathy make positive impacts in the classroom too. However, more research is needed in this area. The impact of teachers based on their reflections and metacognitive actions, it's needed. Before you walk into a classroom, either for your first time or again, please stop and reflect. Who are you? What are your strengths, your weaknesses? What's important to you? What goals do you have for the year? How does all of this tie into your classroom environment, the lessons? And be brutally honest with yourself, or the whole exercise is actually pointless.